IMF Scrutiny. This editorial discusses the IMF's review of Pakistan's governance and corruption vulnerabilities, its impact on institutional reforms, and the broader need for structural changes. The technical IMF mission, which is taking stock of Pakistan's economic governance structure and its vulnerability to corruption, is expected to widen the focus of the reform effort to a broader range of institutional restructuring for inclusive and sustained growth. Taking stock means assessing or evaluating, indicating that the IMF is carefully examining Pakistan's economic system and governance weaknesses. The mission will be in the capital for a week to scrutinize the severities of corruption vulnerabilities across 6 core state functions: fiscal governance, central bank governance and operations, financial sector oversight, market regulation, rule of law, and the AML-CFT regime. Scrutinize means to closely examine or inspect, showing that the IMF will conduct a detailed review of corruption risks in key government functions. It is expected to engage with numerous stakeholders, including the judicial, state bank and SECP authorities, election bodies, finance and revenue officials, and others to review their processes. Engage with stakeholders means consulting with key institutions involved in governance, ensuring a comprehensive assessment. The review of the judicial and regulatory systems is part of the present loan program Pakistan has committed to the fund that it will strengthen its institutional capacities to fight corruption, support inclusive growth, and provide a level playing field for businesses and investment. Committed to the fund means Pakistan has agreed to follow IMF-mandated reforms as a condition for financial assistance. Following the examination, the lender will share its governance and corruption diagnostic assessment findings with the government by July as part of the $7 billion funding program. Diagnostic assessment means an in-depth evaluation of governance and corruption risks to recommend necessary reforms. The assessment will analyze governance and corruption vulnerabilities and identify priority structural reforms. It is expected to help the government take action to address corruption and strengthen integrity and governance to promote transparency. Priority structural reforms refers to key policy and institutional changes needed to improve governance and economic stability. Pakistan's unfinished reform agenda has mostly focused on tax, trade, exchange, monetary policy, and other areas. Unfinished reform agenda means Pakistan has implemented some economic changes but still needs further policy improvements. While these areas are crucial and in dire need of structural changes, our problems go much deeper. Go much deeper suggests that surface-level economic reforms are not enough. Deeper institutional weaknesses must be addressed. The larger picture requires our policymakers to not just prioritize economic fundamentals, but also our justice system, law enforcement, education, healthcare, and the bureaucracy, among others. Larger picture implies that economic stability depends on strengthening multiple institutions, not just financial policies. Strengthening these foundations of the economic superstructure will help make the economy competitive and boost growth. Economic superstructure refers to the broader framework of institutions that support economic activity, such as governance and law enforcement. Without these, nothing will work to strengthen productivity, tax revenues, and trade, or to attract investment, especially foreign private investment, the biggest source of non-debt creating inflows. Non-debt creating inflows means foreign investments that do not increase Pakistan's debt burden, making them crucial for sustainable growth. For example, a handicapped corrupt justice system, unable to protect investors against the breach of contracts, or the high-handedness of corrupt officials, is a far bigger factor in scaring away foreign capital to other destinations than the nation's unfair tax system and other market imbalances. Handicapped corrupt justice system implies that weaknesses in law enforcement discourage investment more than economic policies like taxation. Similarly, no one would want to invest in a country where only illiterate or semi-literate labor with poor skills and low productivity, a direct result of poverty, lack of education and health challenges, is available. Poor skills and low productivity highlight the link between weak education systems and economic underperformance, deterring investment. The fund's diagnoses of issues in our judicial and regulatory system should hopefully prepare the ground for the much broader institutional reforms beyond the ones to which the IMF loan is tied. Prepare the ground means setting the stage for deeper changes beyond immediate IMF-mandated reforms. Published in Dawn, February 11, 2025.